My name's Art Haynes, and once again, I want to welcome everybody to our annual Hall of Fame induction, a very special time for us at Missouri State Athletics. The Hall of Fame was established in 1975 by then Director of Athletics Aldo Sieben to honor outstanding achievement from Missouri State Athletics on the part of student athletes, coaches, or administrators. The original Hall of Fame was a joint endeavor of the Letterman Alumni Association and Intercollegiate Athletics. Then a Women's Athletics Hall of Fame was founded in 1981 by Director of Women's Athletics, Dr. Mary Jo Wynn, to honor similar accomplishments from representatives of our women's programs. The two merged with the first combined induction in 1999. The first 23 years of the Men's Hall saw 179 people inducted. 70 went into the first 18 induction classes in the women's. The 2012 induction today brings the total membership of our Athletics Hall of Fame to 339. And our first inductee from softball is Heather Anderson. Heather was a four-year softball standout, 1994 to 98. Native of Northern California, she was named to the All-Missouri Valley Conference first team and All-Midwest Region second team as a power-hitting outfielder in 1994 when she sparked Coach Holly Hesse's team to a Valley regular season championship. The Bears compiled a school record win total and went 38-13. Heather batted .336 as a freshman, 6 triples, 6 home runs. She was named to the Valley All-Tournament team. Her 27 RBIs were an MSU freshman record. She helped MSU to the Valley Tournament title and into the NCAA tournament in 1996 with another all-league selection and picked all-region first team. MSU finished that year 34-22. Heather in 1996 set Bears single-season records for RBIs with 46 and 14 doubles. That ranked second best all time. With a 17-game hitting streak at midseason, she batted a team-best .348 as a junior. Now, I think baseball people know what .348 is. That's even more in fast-pitch softball. After missing the 1997 season with a shoulder injury, she was all-conference again as a senior in '98. All-tournament pick in the Valley as the Bears rode an 11-game winning streak through the end of the regular season and the tournament. MSU grabbed an NCAA regional berth and recorded an NCAA win over top-seeded Stanford. Missouri State was 31-22 that year. Heather wound up her career as the school leader in runs batted in with 125 and finished in the career top 10 in slugging percentage, doubles, home runs, total bases, and hits. She currently resides in Springfield and owns a number of private business ventures. Our first inductee for the class of 2012, Heather Anderson.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out and supporting us. Thank you to the MSU athletic program and the representatives that come supported this, make this day possible. I couldn't have done this alone, although I had my coaches, my team, and a number of my teammates have been inducted into the Missouri State Hall of Fame as well, so that made me lucky. My coaches, who were Holly, Beth, and Sue, taught us so much throughout my career I still use today. They were supportive. They taught me honesty, integrity, discipline, and commitment to my program and to my team. My coaches, especially Holly, she was amazing. She still taught and still teaches today athletes that come through her program. One year we had to wear the word care across our shirt, class, attitude, respect, effort. I still use that today too. Thank you. My parents were the only reason what made this day possible. They supported me since I was little. They have never missed a game. My dad, my first softball game, I struck out all 3 times. And I started crying and he says, "We will never strike out again." And from then on, it was batting cages and batting cages. So I couldn't have made this possible without my parents. Everybody, thank you for coming and supporting us, and I hope everyone's safe travels on your way home. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Our next inductee from men's basketball is Kevin Alt. Kevin's hair looks a little different now than it did in the picture, but we can say that about a lot of ourselves. Kevin was a rare 4-year basketball starting guard, playing 3 years for Coach Steve Alford and competing as a senior for Coach Barry Henson. His 4 teams from 1996 to 2000 had a combined 85-47 record and reached the championship game of the Valley Tournament 3 times in 4 years. The Bears were 24-9 when Kevin was a freshman, won 22 and 23 games his final 2 seasons. Native of Warsaw, Indiana, he helped the Bears to the NIT in 1997 and 2000, and Missouri State made its deepest advance ever into the NCAA tournament in 1999 when the Bears upset Wisconsin and Tennessee, advancing to the Sweet 16 where they lost to top-ranked and top-seeded Duke. A few NBA players were on that Duke team. Kevin was the Bears' CBS TV Player of the Game in the win over Wisconsin. That same team made MSU the first and only school ever to defeat the state's other 4 Division I teams in the same season, with wins over UMKC, St. Louis, SEMO, and Missouri. Alt led the Bears in steals 4 times, free throw shooting twice, led the Valley in free throw accuracy in 1998. He is the Bears' all-time career record holder in games played and steals. He's 10th in career points with 1,508, second in winning games, 85, third in three-point field goals, 254, third in free throw percentage. He averaged 14.8 scoring as a sophomore, 11.7 as a junior, 10.6 as a senior. He gained Valley All-League honors as a sophomore, on the Valley Tournament All-Team in 2000, shared the MSU Coors Player of the Year award in 1998, and again in 2000. He now lives in his native Indiana and works in business development for a commercial flooring company specializing in gymnasium floors and athletic playing surfaces. Would you please welcome our second inductee, Kevin Alt.
Thank you. I first of all want to congratulate all the inductees here today, all truly deserving, and I'm humbled to be part of this group. The Hall of Fame to me is much more than an individual honor. There's so many people that have contributed to this, and there's so many people that need to be thanked. From all my coaches and my teammates, it goes without saying that this couldn't be possible without them. I'm also joined this weekend by a special group of people at the first table here to my left, and if they wouldn't mind standing, I'll embarrass them here just for a minute. If we give them a round of applause. This has been the backbone of my support system since I can remember. My parents are here, my wife Sherry, my 2 kids, my grandparents are here, my mother and father-in-law are here as well. I don't want to forget to mention them. It'd be a long ride home to Indianapolis. But they mean the world to me, and I'm glad they're here to support me in this. I also want to thank the Hall of Fame Committee, Missouri State University, Missouri State Athletic Program. This has been a first-class weekend. It's been a lot of fun. We've really enjoyed ourselves, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. Thank you.
Our next 2 inductees are both from baseball, and our third of the morning is Larry Gessling. Larry transferred to Missouri State from Mineral Area Junior College in 1977 and played on Bears teams which advanced to the NCAA Division II tournament both his years for Coach Bill Rowe. Native of St. Charles, Larry was a catcher and designated hitter. As a junior, he caught fire at the plate in conference play and finished with a .376 batting mark to land a spot on the MIAA All-League first team and the All-District second team. He batted .508 from April 10th to the end of the season as the Bears reached the regional in Mankato, Minnesota. He was then the slugging backbone of the regional champion and Division II World Series team in 1978 as Missouri State chalked up a school record 28 wins. Larry was the Bears team MVP and led the school and the conference in games, home runs, RBIs, total bases. He batted .377 for his second straight All-MIAA first-team selection. His total for homers, RBIs, and total bases were second best in MSU history at the time. He had 2 home run games in wins over Arkansas and Southwest Baptist and became the first Missouri State player ever to hit for the cycle in a game against Northwest Missouri State in the regional. He was the conference regular season MVP, regional tournament MVP, as the Bears swept to the regional title at Metter Park to go to the Division II World Series in Springfield, Illinois. He later added Division II All-Region and second-team All-America honors. Larry works as a police officer in Maryland Heights in suburban St. Louis with specific emphasis on the DARE program and is a past recipient of the state's DARE Officer of the Year award. Our third enshrinee, Larry Gessler.
I guess I'll start with, I've checked with the Springfield Police, so if anybody's drinking anything harder than the tea, we got a DWI-free zone until after the reception tonight. Thanks for the reception. Admiration and gratitude to everyone responsible for this induction, this weekend that has been afforded us. I've always been proud of the university, and this has been no exception. Played baseball here in the university in 1977, 1978. When I received the call from Mark Stillwell about the induction, I first thought to ask him if there was like an old-timers committee. But Mark wasn't laughing, so I'm here today. I wanted to let you know that in 1977 and 1978, the university at the time was a Division II school. Bill Rowe was my coach. Keith Gutton was one of my teammates. The school was the driving force, but I learned more about pride and character from Bill Rowe and Keith Gutton than any of the classes that I attended. They taught by example and lived what they taught. Their leadership inspired an outstanding group of young baseball players that bought into their system, and it developed into an NC2A Regional 2 bid in 1977 and a World Series appearance in 1978. I kind of always felt like we let the university down when we didn't win at the World Series. I remember reading a short story from Robert Hastings called The Station. If you've read it, it focuses mainly on don't be preoccupied with the destination, enjoy the journey. And I think that is one of the things that I got from Coach Rowe, Coach Gutton, and all my teammates, was the journey was so enjoyable for those 2 years, and it has been ever since that I've been a part of the university, being able to come down here whenever I could. You see, the university at the time, they were showing a very, very serious intention to go to Division II, and they did a few years later. And all the people that have been a part of the past, the present, and the future, I hope that they enjoy the journey as much as I did. My love goes out to my family that are here in attendance today. I have my father-in-law, 2 mothers-in-law, 2 sisters-in-law, a future brother-in-law, and a brother-in-law. Of course, a couple of my best friends, and people that I just could not live without, 2 people, my wife and my son. I'll finish with a thought about baseball and what playing here has meant to me. I don't know, really miss playing the game. I've always been a believer in Cardinal Nation, so I get baseball 9 months out of the year. What I do miss is my teammates. People like Bob Blakely, people like Mike Royal, Steve Dunn, one of the best third-place hitters we ever had here, Mark Minnemar, Keith Champion, Gary Mitchell, Gary Donahue, Tom Ulmer, and of course, one of my biggest reasons to come and play ball here was my lifelong friend and lifelong teammate Ronnie Snyder from St. Charles. To all of you for being so supportive in my life and especially instrumental in this induction, I thank you very much.
Our next inductee, also from the sport of baseball, is Steve Hacker. Steve was a 3-year slugging first baseman and designated hitter for the Bears of Coach Keith Gutton from 1993 to 95. He earned Missouri Valley Conference All-League First Team honors all 3 years, and the St. Louis native led the Bears in a number of offensive categories. He batted .337, 7 homers, 39 RBIs. Bears finished as league runner-up his freshman year. He hiked his plate production as a sophomore, 15 homers, 50 RBIs. He batted .330. Bears were again second in the Valley. He then put up a monster season his junior year, 63 runs, 96 hits. He batted .409 and set a single-season school record with 37 homers, 95 RBIs, and a .957 slugging average. He led the nation in Division I in homers and slugging average. His home run total was the third best in Division I history. He memorably belted 2 homers in a game 6 times and had a 3-homer game in an extra inning win over Missouri, which he talked about last night on the radio. He still ranks among the MSU career top 10 in doubles, homers, RBIs, game-winning RBIs, extra base hits, total bases, and slugging. That junior year, he was first-team All-America from Collegiate Baseball, Baseball America, National Collegiate Baseball Writers, and the American Baseball Coaches Association. Bears were runners-up in the Valley Tournament, but made an NCAA regional appearance in Fresno, California. He was drafted and signed by the Atlanta Braves after his junior season, played professionally for 6 years, reaching the AAA level with the Minnesota Twins. He's now back in his native St. Louis, working as a private hitting instructor. Please welcome our next inductee, Steve Hacker.
Thank you. The first thing I need to do is apologize to the other inductees because my speech is going to be funnier and better than yours, probably. So I apologize for that. I also want to apologize to whoever's running this show because I promise you this will take longer than 3 minutes. So, to get started, my Uncle Jim is here today. He's the best public speaker in our family. So if I can do half as good as he always does, I'll be a very happy man. To me, Missouri State is the best university and the best college in the state. There's no reason to make a competition out of it. There's no reason for me to mention other colleges like Mizzou. So I won't go there. I won't do that. But again, I think we're the best university, whatever college you want to mention. I'm quickly going to mention, I have to, my favorite band is Van Halen. And my mom is thrilled right now. That has absolutely nothing to do with my speech, so I won't go any further than that. My wife's name is Stacy, S-T-A-C-E-Y, for those keeping score. She gets very upset if you misspell her name. And the funny thing to me is her grandpa every year sends a wreath, and every year he spells her name wrong on it. And she gets absolutely furious. And it's just, I think it's the funniest thing in the world. On the way down, she goes, you got your speech ready? I'm like, yeah. She's like, are you just going to carry it up there or a piece of paper? What are you going to do? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to carry it up there and I'm going to put it on the podium thing and whatever. She goes, I don't think they're going to have a podium. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What place has a speech that doesn't have a podium? She goes, well, I just don't think there's going to be a podium. I don't know where she's getting this information. So last night, kids are sleeping, she's sleeping. From about 2 a.m. to 4 a.m., I'm awake, honest to God, thinking, what if they don't have a podium? I'm just stand here like an idiot. I'd be like this, there's a podium, thanks. All right, Coach Gutton, Coach Thomas, Coach Evans, and Coach Bunton. I would have never made it as far as I did without those 4 guys, especially Coach Gutton. He's the hitting coach. That was my main area of expertise, so to speak. I played organized baseball for about 21 years, until I was about 25, 26 years old. I can honestly tell you that Keith Gutton is the best baseball coach I've ever had. So I want a little round of applause for him. My mom and dad are a huge part of my life. My dad, incredible in the sense I'll never forget, whether this is as a kid or in college or pro ball, if I had a great game or a good game, he'd say, hey man, great game, nice job. And if I had a bad game, he'd say, hey, just don't worry about it, give him tomorrow. He never threw out a bunch of silly advice like a lot of parents do, thinking they know what they're talking about baseball or something like that. He was just very even keel, which helped me be even keel. My mom is not the quietest of rooters at the game. And some of my teammates, Alex, Scott, who are here, know at some of the Saturday morning games that are 26 degrees in February, there's not a ton of fans there occasionally at Meadow Park. And I could hear my mom at the plate telling me to stay square and keep my hands up. And I'm just thinking, oh my God. I love her so much, but I mean, everybody could hear. I mean, everybody. And that's awesome though. I mean, if you have the old videotapes from the games, yes, I said videotapes, VHS. I'm old, but you can hear her in the background still, and I love her for it. All right, to finish up, I want to talk a little bit about decisions. 3 main decisions, and then I'll get out of your way. The first life-changing decision I made was when I chose to come to this university as opposed to the other ones that were recruiting me. That was one of the better decisions I ever made in my life. And then as a senior in high school, I got drafted by the Blue Jays, and I had to make a decision of whether to go to professional baseball as a 17-year-old or come to this college. And I chose to come here, which was one of the better things I've ever done. Pro ball is a tough road, and I'm really thankful I came to college first to learn how to kind of grow up. Those 2 decisions are absolutely huge, but to be honest with you, they are trumped by the decision I made to marry my wife, Stacy, and have our 2 beautiful kids, Eddie and Sully. Thank you guys very much.
Our next inductee from women's basketball is Jenny Linger. Jenny was a 4-year starting guard on 4 straight postseason tournament teams for the Lady Bears from 2001 to 5, playing as a freshman for Coach Cheryl Burnett, and the last 3 years for Coach Katie Abrahamson Henderson. A native of Tahlequah, Oklahoma, she capped her career by leading the Lady Bears to consecutive wins over SMU, Gonzaga, Texas A&M, Iowa, and West Virginia for the championship of the 2005 Women's NIT. I remember Rams quarterback Mark Bulger was in the stands for the finals. His sister was playing for West Virginia, and the Lady Bears won. Lady Bears played in the Women's NIT when Jenny was a freshman, and MSU won the Valley postseason tournament to take the banner into the NCAA field in 2003 and 4. Jenny led Missouri State in scoring twice and in rebounding 3 times. She was named to the All-Conference All-League First Team 3 times, was Valley Freshman of the Year her first year, Valley Player of the Year as a senior. She averaged over 13 points a game each of her first 3 seasons and then 20 points a game as a senior. She currently ranks in the Lady Bears career top 10 in games played, scoring average, rebounds, assists, field goals, field goal attempts, free throws, free throw attempts, and steals. She is second all time in 3-point field goals with 265 and fifth in points with 1,884. After graduation, Jenny was drafted by the Detroit Shock of the WNBA and later played professionally in Sweden, New Zealand, and Estonia, playing on championship clubs and gaining league all-star selection in 2 of those 3 stops. She now lives in Sallisaw, Oklahoma, and works as a Cherokee Nation deputy marshal with police supervision over 14 counties in eastern Oklahoma. Please welcome Jenny Linger.
I'd like to start out by saying I had no clue that I would even be considered for the Hall of Fame until I got the phone call. And I'm very fortunate that I got to play for Cheryl Burnett and Katie Abrahamson Henderson. And I'm going to tell a story that includes current assistant coach Carly Deere. I'm sure she's going to appreciate this and love it. But before I do that, I don't even know who Van Halen is. You're old. And but on my recruiting trip here, I remember thinking how close-knit the team was when Tara Mitchum and Melody Campbell came to pick me up to take me to the women's soccer game. And if you guys don't remember, 2001 is when the women's USA team won the World Cup and Brandi Chastain took her shirt off. Carly knows exactly where I'm going with the story. We went to the women's soccer game, and I was with another recruit who's being recruited by Drake. It was where she ended up going. I don't know why. And when the soccer team scored, the women's basketball team took their shirts off. They had "Go Bears" written on their chests. And I think they got in trouble. They got in trouble by Coach Burnett, but that right there just let me know that this is going to be a fun university, that we support each other, that I would have a great time. But seriously though, coming here was the best decision of my life, and I just wish my parents could be here. I hope I made them proud. And thank you to my friends and family who were here to support me. And thank you to the university, all of my coaches, and thank you.
Our next inductee from track and cross country is Casey Owens. Casey was one of the most productive and accomplished distance runners in Missouri State track and cross country history from 2001 to 5 for coaches Ron Boyce, Houston Franks, and Greg Hipp. Native of Des Moines, she captured the Missouri Valley Conference individual title as a sophomore in 2002 and as a senior in 4, and was runner-up in 2003, while leading Missouri State to 4 straight Valley championships. She qualified for and ran in the NCAA National Cross Country Meet her last 2 seasons. She was 3-time All-Region, 4-time All-Conference in cross country. She has the second best MSU career time at 6,000 meters and third best at 5,000. She twice won NCAA Outdoor Track All-American honors, finishing 11th in Division I in the 10,000 meter run in 2004 and 10th in that event in 2005. Casey also ran in the NCAA Indoor 5,000 meters and had a total of 8 NCAA meet qualifying times. She was a 4-time All-Conference selection in indoor and outdoor track. Can't do better than that. She was an 11-time conference champion, winning the 3,000 meter indoors as a sophomore, junior, and senior, the 5,000 indoors as a junior and senior, the indoor mile as a junior, 10,000 meter run outdoors as a sophomore, junior, and senior, and the 5,000 outdoors as a junior and senior. She was 3-time Valley Indoor Track MVP, won the honor outdoors once, and was named to the Valley All-Centennial team in 2007 in both track and cross country. She still holds the school indoor records at 3,000 and 5,000 meters, second best time in the indoor mile, owns the school outdoor marks at 5 and 10,000 meters. She now lives back in her hometown and is employed at the Des Moines Airport, so our teams may see her next week when we go up there and play Drake. Our next inductee, Casey Owens.
Hi, excuse me if I'm a little nervous. This is the first time I've public spoke since I was 16 at basketball camp, and my advice went along with Larry's. I just told him not to do drugs, so I just am kind of winging the speech, sorry. So I was going to write it last night, then I got caught up reading People magazine, getting caught up with all the Seal and Heidi Klum thing. And then, like Steve, I guess I was all excited. I woke up at 2 and found next to my Bible, there was a book about John Q. Hammonds and all the great contributions he's made financially to the school. So I think maybe the 6 of us and Coach Steck would have stuck around a lot without the help of John Q. Hammonds. Okay. And I'd like to thank, I'm very honored to be selected, especially when we're playing UNI. I'm an Iowa native, and then I'm the youngest of 5 children. I have, none of my siblings made it today, but my dad and my stepmom Kathleen made it. My mom passed away in 2009, so they were putting, like, I'm the first one to go out of state, so there was a lot of pressure on me. My parents were like, why don't you just go to UNI? And one of my cousins wanted to go to Missouri State too, but she wasn't as strong as me. She didn't give in to parental pressure. So, and then I think they finally realized, Dad, we're a lot cooler than you and I agreed. And if you get a chance to talk to my stepmom, she currently lives in Waterloo, but she's not a native and she didn't go there, so don't worry about that. And so, okay, excuse me for a second. I actually won my first title we were running against UNI. It was a big battle in the DMR. I was a freshman and I was running with my senior teammates, Jamie Fresh, Mashir Harrison, and Rhonda Allen. They were all seniors, and it was going to be a big conference title for them in the DMR, and I was the anchor. So you don't know who the DMR is. It's a 1200, 400, and 800, so I had all the pressure of winning these seniors a title. And then I was up against the UNI junior, and the UNI coaches just shouted, just stand behind her and out-kick her at the end like I was a big idiot or something. I thought that was the funniest thing ever. So I just counter strategies by that. So that was my inspiration for winning 11 titles. So obviously I consider the Bears a second family. So they're all great. So my teammates, Casey DeWitt, who's sitting at my table, Carrie Vestal and Carrie Sell, Aaron Sutton and Tracy Partain, Kale Masterson, they were all locals, and they always adopted us, invited us over for dinner and stuff like that, so it was great to have a second family. And I guess I mentioned my mom passed away in 2009, and my coaches, right when they found out, Casey called them for me. I thought it was very sweet. They're both fit mates, and they called me that, so it's just great to have I always feel like I have a second family here at Missouri State. And that's it.
Good job. Come. Well, our 7th and final inductee, certainly not least, is from swimming and diving, Coach Jack Steck. Jack is one of just 4 people in Missouri State athletics history to coach men's and women's teams in one sport at the same time. He coached men's swimming 29 seasons, 14 years coaching women's swimming. He started the program in 1998. His men have captured 11 league titles in the Mid-Continent and the Missouri Valley, the Sun Belt, and 3rd in the Mid-American, his first year in that league, 2010. The women own 8 Valley titles. His swimmers have won more than 120 individual event league titles, and he has received a dozen League Coach of the Year honors. In years when the Bears had no league affiliation, he won 1 Midwest regional meet and 1 national independent crown. Both MSU teams received league and national academic honors each of Jack's last 3 years with the Bears. He came here in 1983 after 15 seasons as head coach at Drury University, where the Panthers were nationally ranked 14 consecutive years with back-to-back NAIA national titles in 1981 and 82. Jack had dual meet records of 252, 89, and 1 with the men, 180 for the women, and 134 and 50 at Drury, for a final career mark of 486 wins, 219 losses. Jack was named NAIA National Coach of the Year in 1975 and 82, a native of South Bend, Indiana, 1964 graduate of Indiana State. He's gotten over that. Steck received the ISU Distinguished Alumni Athletic Award and earned the designation Master Coach from the Swimming Coaches Association of America. In 1993, he became the 7th coach inducted into the NAIA Hall of Fame for swimming and diving. He's been inducted into the Drury Athletics Hall of Fame, the Springfield Area Sports Hall of Fame, and now the Missouri State Sports Hall of Fame. Coach Jack Steck.
I'd like to first introduce people at my table. Dave and Ellen Arkovich, please stand. Dave and Ellen are giving me 2 daughters that dove for me, and they're from Ames, Iowa, and have been really a true backers of our swimming and diving program. And they really wanted to come down here in October at homecoming, but their youngest daughter was getting married in Ohio, so they decided they better go out to Ohio and be at the wedding. But I want to tell you, these are 2 parents that their children are gone, married. They've got 2 granddaughters, but they're still big Bear swimming and diving supporters, and I'm so happy. Next person I want to introduce from my table is Dan Dunaway. Dan's my next door neighbor, and he's going to be taking over in my retirement to take me to garage sales, and he's responsible to. I'm 70 years old, and he found a Honda black scooter, and thought that would be great. And he called me and gave me the wrong directions how to get there, but I finally got there and bought that. And so I'll be going to a lot of garage sales and talking politics. And we head out to the dump and to put our leaves and stuff like that, and we get in some real arguments and politics. So really look forward. So that's my Kyle, that's my new boss right there. So thank you. Also would like to introduce my son and his wife, Missy, and my granddaughter, Grace. Please stand up. My son is a police officer in the city of Springfield and has really been one of my great assets with control of the team and things like that. I can't tell you how many times, because Scott's Association of the Police Department, that Coach Steck would get a call in the middle of the night and get down at 513 Lawrence Street, and we got one of your swimmers in the, what do they call it? The lockup, but it's the vehicle that they put people in. And I'd come down there and promise that we'd take care of them. And I can't tell you how many times Josh Wiggerson, one of our greatest swimmers that we ever had, that I've gone and got him out of the paddy wagon. That's what I was trying to think of. So, Grace is a very good volleyball player, and I don't know how that fits in with a grandpa that's a swimming coach, but very, very good volleyball player. And I already have talked to Coach Stokes, and she's about ready to make a verbal commitment to be a Bear. So. But again, that's my family, and also would like to. I think we've got some other parents in there. Of my swimmers, I saw Byron Lindeman, that's sitting over here. Go way back with some other people that have been in the Pattons, have been in my age group programs, and had children in it, and it just goes on and on. I want to thank Missouri State for this great honor, Hall of Fame honor. I want to personally thank Mark Stillwell, who's had a lot to do, and Bill Rowe with getting this enshrinement that you have of the Hall of Fame in the queue. I mean, this is tremendous, and all the inductees. This is pretty special in this pretty special university, and I really appreciate all the work that you and Bill Rowe have done. I've had very few mentors in my career, which is about 40-some years old. Before I do that, I missed one person. My son has given me the signal like this in the gun. Better known on the swimming circles as whatchamacallit. Chelsea will tell you, she's heard that, whatchamacallit. This is my beautiful wife, and Wednesday, next Wednesday, February 1st, is our 48th anniversary. So please stand. Now, into the mentors. I want to start with the ladies. Dr. Mary Jo Wynn, please stand. Dr. Wynn was instrumental in the big push on getting women's swimming here. And I kept telling her that we won't let you down. Let's get this thing started as soon as possible. And we've been in existence since probably, 99, 98, 99, I think was when we started women's swimming here, and have been very, very successful. And really appreciate you very much. Next, in the women's mentors, I'd probably have to go to Darlene Bailey. Darlene Bailey was very instrumental, along with Bill Rowe, in saving men's swimming when we went through the situation of dropping sports. And I really can't thank them enough. They really fought to keep this swimming above board, and I really thank those two very much. Casey Komorowski, who's presently the senior woman administrator. Casey came in here. I remember I was on the committee, and she came in here as a compliance director, and inherited, when Darlene left, inherited the senior woman administrator. And I felt sorry for her to a certain extent, because swimming was always big problems. And she had the window overlooking there, and it was a constant reminder of a kind of a problem, but she's always stuck with us, and I really appreciate your support, Casey. On the men's side, Bill Rowe. He's the person that brought me over from Prairie College, and Bill and I go way back. And Larry, I probably umpired some of your games back then. I was always, as an umpire, just terrified when I had Missouri State, or back then Southwest Missouri State. I still can remember Gutton. Gutton was mean to umpires, and he's still mean. And Gutton played second base, I think, and his running mate, who was a good friend that passed away, Mitchell. I mean, these guys, I felt like when I would do a game that with Southwest Missouri State, that, oh my heavens, it was like I was the last deer in hunting season and walking out, and it was just a matter of time that it wasn't pleasant, put it that way. But I'll never forget, I think Bill Rowe and I got into an argument up at Southwest Baptist, and it was on catcher interference on a runner coming in from third base, and I went ahead and warded it. And I think the next year, and Bill will tell you if this is correct, but I think they made a ruling in the NCAA rule book about catcher interference that possibility you don't automatically get the next bag. You have to be coming in like on a squeeze bunt or something like that. But real frightening experiences back in those days. So Larry and Hacker, that sport is a big sport. Also, the other recipients of these awards, talking about Heather, softball, great sport, and I can remember when Heather played here. Larry, just from my association of umpiring during that era, because I was still at Drury. Steve. I'm a South Bend Riley graduate, so I imagine you know where Lake Wawasee is and Lake Papakichi. Didn't you say you were from Warsaw, Indiana? So we've got a little bit in common, and both being Hoosiers. So Jenny, it was always a pleasure to watch her play basketball, always 100%, and was a great player that played for the Bears. And Casey, socially was with a lot of our swimmers, and she reminded me that last night when I was talking to her. So Casey, I do remember you too, and you being a very good distance runner and cross-country runner, and that's kind of swimming's a lot. I mean, it's an aerobic sport just like cross-country. Getting back to the men's side of the mentors, Bill Rowe, again, was my first athletic director here, and then Kyle Motes, and I couldn't ask for any better bosses than those two. I remember when Bill brought me over here to Southwest Missouri State at that time, and I was doing a ball game out at Meadow Park, and he says, I'm going to put a contract under your seat of your car, and he did that, and I decided that the conditions over there, we had problems with the roof at that pool, that I'd move over to Southwest Missouri State. So problems in swimming, pool, and especially roofs kind of follow my career. Also looking out here, I want to recognize Dale Williams, who's always been a friend, the first coach at Southwest Missouri State in swimming, and Dale and I competed against him when I was coaching at Drury, but always respected him, and to this day respect what he does to promote the sport of swimming. Also want to recognize the staff, the swimming coaches that are going to take over, hopefully. Coach Collins, stand up. Dave's doing a tremendous job, and he's really well organized, well schooled, and he will have a tremendous future in coaching wherever he lands, whether it's here or some other place. And Chelsea Dirksham has helped out as a fifth-year senior, one of the best female swimmers that Missouri State has ever had. Josh Uderman has filled in as a grad assistant and has all kinds of responsibilities with the sprinters. And I don't see Jim Hulskamp, my diving coach, but I don't believe Shannon's here, who plays a key role with us in our staff. But I'm leaving things in good hands, believe me, with those people. Like to also talk a little bit. My wife's going like this. Let's get this thing over with real fast, but I would like to express that athletics is changing very, very quickly. And I mean, if I sat at this podium or talked at this podium 5 years ago and told you that Nebraska would be in the Big Ten, told you that Missouri would be in the Southeastern Conference, I told you that Boise State and Idaho would be in the Big East, tell you that the Big 12, that TCU was going to be in the Big 12, West Virginia would be in the Big 12. There's a lot of movement going on. And it's not just in the betterment of athletics, it's money. And the people of Southwest Missouri have to get behind our school. And because you look out there in the formation of these so-called super conferences. I just lately have seen that the NCAA is trying to get 4-year contracts and also stipends for anybody on a full ride to give them extra money. Things are changing very quickly. And out there on the horizon, possibility, and you keep hearing about it, 4 super conferences, and made up of 16 teams, and you hear the rumblings, we don't need the NCAA. We've got the TV rights, the money and everything, and let's keep it. And so things are changing, and just like the interim president Smart said, athletics is going to play a very key role in the financial success of an institution. And I think we're very blessed to be in the Ozarks. There's a lot of great people, and I really feel that the support is there, and we're going to need it, and we really are. All right, last but least, my wife's going like this. Also want to thank softball, Holly, Beth, and Sue. Also volleyball, Melissa, Jonesy, Jenny, Fritz. These are kind of my protectors. These are my brothers and sisters. When you're 70 years old, you're kind of like the water buffalo that's getting old, can't run too fast, needs protection. And I remember watching and you probably have seen the same thing, of the water buffalo that went to the river to take a drink, the old water buffalo, and alligator grabbed at it, and it got away from the alligator, and here comes some lions, and they attacked it, and it would look like it was going to be gone. And here come the other water buffaloes, and they attacked the lions and saved it. And that's what softball and volleyball has done to old Coach Steck. Has protected me. Holly Hesse, tries to keep me organized. Jenny Jones, teaches me things on the computer. Bill Rowe and I are so old that computer scares us to death. When I was in high school, it was sissy to learn how to type. That was for girls. And so computer just scares us to death. We were riding back from Truman, and Chelsea tries to take care of Grandpa here by, you need to tweet. And I thought tweet was a bird or something, and so she set up an account, and Coach Collins and Coach Uterman, they try to help me the best I can, and a lot of times behind a locked door, I'm in there trying to hit these symbols, see what the hell is going to come up on them when I do, and I hit the wrong thing the other day, and my mouse wouldn't work anymore, and Fritz came in and spent about 20 minutes under the desk hooking this up, doing stuff, so I've survived, and I thank each and every one of you, and this has been a fantastic journey, believe me. There isn't one day that I never wanted to get up to come to work. And the athletes and the fellow coaches and the parents, it's been great. And as Red Skelton used to say, thanks for the memories, and God bless you. Love you.
One final time, I'd like to have us all recognize the class of 2012, this year's inductees. Great start to the weekend, even better things ahead. Thanks so much for being here and being a part of the great legacy of Missouri State Athletics. Go Bears.